Hey school leaders, Brent Coley here, and in this short tutorial video, I'm going to walk you through step by step. You can pause along the way exactly how to set up a classroom walkthrough Google form that is automated, meaning you can, after doing a classroom walkthrough, you can submit this Google form on your phone and have the information, the info from the form automatically populated into a template that you create that can then be automatically emailed to the teacher. This is a fantastic way to provide positive feedback to your teachers from classroom walkthroughs. So what are you going to need? You're going to need two things. You're going to need this template right here. This is the actual Google form for the informal walkthrough notes, and you're going to need this Google Doc that is the template that the info from the form will be merged into. So two things, you're going to need this form and this template here. Now these are both available on, if you went to the Spring Q session I did, it's available on that Spring Q website. You can also find it here on this document here at bit.ly/drive4edu. And if you scroll down, you'll see that both of these documents are right here. These are template links that if you click on them, you can save them into your Google Drive. So once you've got all those, we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, we've got the form and we've got the template. So what you'll see is if you want to, this is the template that I've created here. So you've got your teacher, a lot of blanks there. So what you would want to do is you would want to go in here and literally start plugging in the teacher names that you have. So that'll take a little time, so if you need to pause this, go ahead and do that. And then as you scroll down, you can see these are the questions that I have put into the form. Again, if you want to change any of these, please go right ahead. So you put your principal name there, your assistant principal name. So if I, whoops, I don't want to do that, but let's say if this was Ms. Lopez and Mr. Jones. Those are our two. And again, I've got substitute, because if you were doing an observation and there happened to be a substitute in the room, that might be something to note. So you've got that there. I've got check boxes for what subject are you seeing. Again, if you need to modify this, if you're at the secondary level and you want to put different courses in here, you can absolutely add additional questions. I've got a question for type of instruction, student engagement, what kind of engagement were you seeing, teacher location, if there was any technology that was used, and then a place for notes. Okay, this is kind of a paragraph place to put notes. And then down here, you've got the place where you would put the email addresses of the teachers. So those email addresses would basically match the teachers that you've got here. So this is probably the thing that would take the longest, is just kind of copying and pasting email addresses in here. But once you do it one time, then it's done. It's set up and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So again, I'm just going to, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and put in my email address that we're going to use for the purpose of this tutorial. But again, you would go through and do all of this. So if you want to change or add questions, go ahead and do that first. All right, but let's just assume you love this form the way it is. You've added all the teacher names. You've added all the email addresses. You love the questions, and you're good to go. The next thing would be you're going to look over here, and you're going to look at the template. Well, actually, let me go back one step. So once your form is ready to go, now we're going to go to responses. And you want to link it to the spreadsheet. So we're going to create a new spreadsheet. But again, I'm not going to do this until my questions are good. Like I'm ready, this is the form that I want. So if we're ready to go, I'm going to click Form Responses, and I'm going to create a new spreadsheet. So you can see now I have a spreadsheet here. And again, if you've used Google Forms before, you know that the columns in the spreadsheet, teacher, observer, substitute, subject, are matching teacher, observer, substitute, subject. It matches the title of the questions in your form. All right, so now we've got our form. we've got our spreadsheet, and we've got our template. So the next step after you've created your form is you're going to make sure your template looks the way you want it to look. Now you can see up here I've got insert school header. This is what mine looked like when I was a principal at an elementary school. So same kind of, again, I've got the template here. This is what it looks like with a header. So what you can do is you could put text here, you could add your logo, your graphic. You can make this template look however you want it to look. You want to make the colors different. If you want to shade this instead of gray, you wanted to make it blue to match your school. Knock yourself out. You can make this look however you want it to look. But here's the next step. So again, we've got our form and we've got the associated spreadsheet. Now what we're going to do is you can see here, what you see in each one of these things, these are called merge tags. So you can see all of the information, when I submit a form, the information is going to go into this spreadsheet. Teacher, observer, substitute, subject. You can see here, teacher, observer, substitute, subject. You can see all those there, and they're inside what are called chevrons, little sideways arrow things. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to set up a merge. It's basically a mail merge. If you've ever done a mail merge, what I'm going to show you how to set up using an add-on in Google Sheets called Autocrat. It is going to merge whatever information, when you do the form, it dumps it in the spreadsheet, and then it will take whatever information is here and it will merge it. So whatever teacher was inputted into the form, it's going to actually drop that right in here. Okay, so again, if you took your form and you added an additional question, you're going to want to add that over here. Or if you got rid of something, you changed something, you're going to want to add that. But again, whatever the title, so you have type of instruction with two chevrons, kind of open and closed chevrons. So again, just make sure that whatever is in your spreadsheet is also here. Now you don't have to have everything from the spreadsheet. So for example, in my form, remember how I actually had the teacher email? Because I need to know who I'm going to send it to, but I don't necessarily have to have that in my form because the teacher knows what their email address is. Does that make sense? You don't have to include something in your template, but if you do include it, you just need to make sure that it matches the columns here. Okay? So let's say I'm ready to go. I've got my form, I've got my spreadsheet, and my template is ready to go. Here, next step, and this is where you're going to set up the merge. Now this will take about just 4 or 5 minutes, but you're going to do it one time. So what you want to do is you want to go up to extensions. And under extensions, if you haven't already, we're going to look for, it's one called Autocrat. Now if you have not already added this, you're going to go up to add-ons and get add-ons, and then do a search for Autocrat, and it's the one that looks like this. It's kind of yellow with a little blue logo right there. You can see mine is already installed. You have to install this one time. So if you haven't already installed it, go up there, get the add-on, and install it. Once it's installed, now I'm going to go to Autocrat, and I'm going to launch this. Okay? Honestly, the hardest part of this whole process is making the form and making the template. Once you're done, you're good to go. Okay? And before I proceed with this, I just want to let you know, I've put all of these, if you haven't already done this, I would recommend organize these in a folder. I'm going to go ahead and refresh that because remember I created that spreadsheet. So I've got the form, I've got its associated spreadsheet, I've got the actual template here, and I've also created a subfolder for where the notes are going to go. And I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So let me go back to, back to here. So now we're going to set up this merge. And I'm going to click New Job. So what do I want to call it? It doesn't matter what you call this. You call this walkthrough merge. It doesn't matter at all. And again, feel free to pause this video, go back, rewind. So walk through merge. I'm going to go next. So now I'm going to choose the template. So basically I'm going to choose, I want to choose this right here. Which template do I want to use? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to create it from my drive. And again, mine is called, it's called Walkthrough Notes Template Tutorial. So I'm going to see there. And you can even search if you don't find it. Walkthrough Notes Template Tutorial. And here it is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And what it's doing is it was looking for those merge tags. So there we go. So this is the template it's going to use. I'm going to click next. And now what it's going to do is it's saying, okay, it's looking for those tags. So it looked into this template and it looked and it found teacher. And what it's doing is it's mapping that to the teacher column. And what you'll find is 99% of the time, it's going to get it right. It's going to know that this teacher merge tag is supposed to go to the teacher column in the spreadsheet here. But you can go down and double check. So observer, observer, timestamp, timestamp, substitute, substitute, subject, subject, type of instruction, teacher location, use of technology, student engagement, notes. It got them all right. If it didn't, let's say if the student engagement, it had the wrong one, you can just drop down and choose the one that it's supposed to be. And if it is wrong or if it wasn't sure, it'll give you a little like warning, little icon that says, uh-oh, you may need to double check this one. But we've got them all right, so I'm going to click next. Again, you're doing this setup one time, and then you're going to be done, and it's going to work every other time. So file name. Once I'm done with my walkthrough notes, or once I've done a walkthrough, what do I want to call the document? So let's say I'm going to call this walkthrough feedback. And if and I'm going to put dash, and now I want to put the name of the teacher. Because if I just said walkthrough feedback, and it's a static title here, every time I do it, it's going to give it the same name. So I don't want that. I want to do walkthrough feedback, and I want to put the name of the teacher. So if you go over here to this blue bar right here, you can see, ooh, I want the teacher. And watch, click to copy to clipboard. I'm going to copy, click teacher, go here and do a control or a command V. So now this is dynamic. So when this file is created, it's going to call it walkthrough feedback dash the teacher's name. And then let's say I want to put dash, but I also want it to be dynamic. I want it to be the date. So you can have today, now, timestamp. Today means the date, now means the time, timestamp is the date and the time. I'm just going to say, for example, I want it to be today. So I'm going to control or command V that in there. So you can see the title of this, walkthrough feedback, it'll have the teacher's name and it'll have today. Okay, so it's going to be a dynamic, a different title every time I do this. Now you can choose it to be a Google Doc or a PDF. I always like it to be a PDF because then it's a static, unchangeable document there. And you're going to keep it as classic mode. And we're going to go next. Again, feel free to pause or rewind this if you need to. I'm going to click next. Now basically it's where do I want it to put these merged, created documents. Now right now it has got walkthrough tutorials, which if I go back to my thing, that would put it right now in this main walkthrough tutorials folder, which means every time I created one, it would start boom, 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 boom. It would start populating more documents here. I want them to go in this walkthrough notes folder right here. So I'm not going to keep this. I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to choose a folder. And what I can do is this one here is the walkthrough notes. This is the walkthrough tutorials at its current, but I want it to be in that subfolder. So I'm going to select that. So now I've got two of them. I don't want it to go in the, so you can make it go actually in multiple folders if you want. I don't want it to go in the main folder, so I'm going to delete that. I just want it to go in the subfolder. So does that make sense? I want it to go in this subfolder right here, not in the main walkthrough tutorials folder. So we're almost done. Hang with me. Now we're going to go next. Now these are my two favorite steps next because they're optional and you can just totally skip those. You don't need to do these. To be honest, I don't even know what these do. So I'm going to say next, optional. Oh, I love this one too. Optional, next, skip it. Two more steps and we're done. Now, share docs and send emails. Do you want, when this is created with all of the information from your walkthrough, do you want this to be emailed to your teachers? You probably do. So if you want that, say, yes, I want it to be shared. Allow collaborators to reshare. You can keep that yes, it doesn't really matter. Send it from a generic no reply address. Now you're not doing that. It's going to come from your Gmail address. Now I will let you know, the sending function, the automatic email, will only work from a Gmail address. So if you were using a Google account that is not associated with a Gmail address, Gmail email address, the sending of the email will not work. It'll still create the document, but you can't do the emails if you don't have Gmail. So next is, who do I want to send it to? So what you can do is you can go over here and I want it to go to the teacher email. So I'm going to click that, go up here, Control or Command V. So you can see it's going to be dynamic. When in the form, when I was done, remember I'm going to choose an email address. Whichever one I choose, it's going to send it to that email address. And you can even copy. So what I always did is I put the teacher email here, but I always included here my email address and my assistant principal's email address, so we would both get a copy of that feedback. So if my AP was doing a walkthrough, I would get a copy of the feedback that she was providing and vice versa. So you can put multiple email addresses here separated by comma or semicolon. And then for subject, I could call this walkthrough feedback, and I could do it kind of the same thing. I wanted to say for the teacher, where is it? For the teacher name. And I wanted to say on this date for today. Again, I used the same format that I used for the title of the actual document. And then you can put whatever you want in here, like, it was great getting to visit your classroom today. Attached is some feedback. And again, you can personalize that. And you can even, if you wanted, you could even, it was great getting to meet your classroom today, comma, teacher. So you can see what I've done there is I can even make that personalized. So it's awesome that you can really customize this. And then you're going to, one more step, next. Final step, run on form trigger. This means is you want to say yes, means it will run, this Autocrat merge will run every time you submit the form. So you want that to be yes. So we're going to click yes, and it's going to say you need to enable triggers. Confirm, yep, go ahead and say yes. It's going to update those project triggers. And run on time trigger, that just means if you want it to run every hour, every day, maybe you only want it to run once a day, you could click yes and determine how often you want it to run. I always just keep this run on the time trigger, because for this, you want it to run exactly when you submit the form. So that way, literally in about 30 seconds, they're going to get an email in their inbox. So we're done. Now we're going to click save. So literally, that's the hard part. We do this one time. So now you can see my merge is done, and now I'm going to click out of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here. We're going to copy the responder link. Whoop, I need to publish this first. And let's make this, I want this to be anyone with the link. So I now have that. So I'm going to publish this. And now I'm going to get the link, and we're going to open up this. So there's the live form here. And I'm going to move this right over next to my thing. So this is what you would then Save on your phone. Save on the home page, on an icon on your phone, so you could email it to yourself. Save it on your phone. So then after a walkthrough, what I would always do is step outside the room, and I could just kind of tap, 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 tap. So real quickly, we're going to use an example. Again, I could, you're going to have all your teacher names. If it was Mr. Smith, the observer was Ms. Lopez, there was no sub. Let's say it was a math lesson. It was direct instruction. There was great engagement. Let's say also that you can do more than one here. Let's say it was circulating around the room and they were using a projector and the Elmo and the notes. And again, the beautiful thing about this, I'm typing this on a desktop right now, but if you were doing this on your phone, you can voice, you can dictate, hit the little microphone button, and then you can talk. You can basically, that's what I would always do, would be like, hey, Mr. Smith, I love visiting your classroom today, and you can speak the punctuation. Great lesson, exclamation point. I loved how you were circulating around the room the entire time, period. So again, I'm going to go ahead and great lesson, blah, blah, blah. Again, you would obviously put more there. And then for teacher email. Now, you'll notice that this is not a required question. If you didn't want to send an email, you wouldn't have to. But I'm going to go ahead and, again, I put that one there. So watch what's going to happen. I'm going to hit submit here. But before I do that, I'm going to move over here because I'm going to get ready and show you what's going to happen in the background. So I've got this. I'm going to hit submit. It's done. And I'm going to quickly go over here. Now you can see right, oh, look what's happening. Autocrat is doing its magic. You can see already the information was submitted over here, but now look what just happened. It's done. You can say merge doc, and right here, walk through feedback. If I click here, there is the magical template. Again, I didn't put a template, a header, or anything like that, but you can see all of the information that we put in that Google form was magically merged into this document. Again, you can pretty up this template as much as you want, but that's how easy. And now in this spreadsheet, you always have a link back, and it's basically in both of these here. And if I go back to my folder where I put all of these in the walkthrough notes, ta-da, there it is. There's my walkthrough feedback. So I now also have a record of that walkthrough form there. And remember, I emailed it to myself. There it is. And if I click there, it was great getting to visit your classroom today, comma, Mr. Smith. Remember, I personalized that. You can see how it was personalized in the subject line, attached to some feedback, and voila. There is your walkthrough feedback. So again, you did all the hard setup work, setting up that Autocrat merge. Once you've got that set up, you're done. You will never have to go back in and do this Autocrat, and you don't have to do that anymore. You set it up one time. So you set up the form, which goes to a spreadsheet. You set up the template with your merge tags, and then you set up that Autocrat merge right here. But you can see it's already there. I'm not going to have to go in and do it a second time. So you create it one time, it's already there, you're done. So I hope that this is helpful. Again, I cannot stress enough, this was such an invaluable tool for me when I was at the site level as a principal and an assistant principal to be able to provide positive feedback for my teachers. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, as I'd love to help you.